Hello everyone, welcome to the Online Tonight Entertainment Podcast. My name is Matthew Willard. With me is Ryan Toronos.
Hey, how you doing?
And Nathan Dean.
Not the cop drop button!
Copyright.
Today we are going to be discussing how Sonic is going to be changing the way movies are made forever, and some interesting movie details that involve the Caped Crusader himself, who is now going to be Robert Pattinson. Yes, Twilight himself. So, instant reactions from Ryan and Nathan. Go.
Oh, we're jumping right into it?
Right into it.
Oh, well, this is Online Tonight. Hey, so, to preface this, I'm looking through Robert Pattinson's films that he's done, and I don't think I've seen a single one. So, I don't have this bias of, like, Twilight, which, from what I'm getting from a lot of people that I follow that are, like, movie people, it's not on him, because he's actually, like, a really good actor that people say it's more of the, I don't know, writing or directing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have zero issue with him being Batman. He's done a lot of good movies recently that are not Twilight, and I feel like that's all people are going to think of as Twilight. But he's done a lot of like smaller roles or lower, not big budget movies, but a lot of the film Twitter that I see, they said they're perfectly fine with it. So, and I usually agree with them. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
What about you, Nathan?
I mean, I'm sure it could be better than Ben Affleck, so
That's true.
We'll definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I would like to see DC come back around now that the MCU is over. So it'd be nice to see if DC can have like a rebirth here and see if Robert Pattinson can be better than Ben Affleck, because Batman vs Superman was terrible.
It was.
Absolutely
I
horrible.
I didn't see. I mean, I don't know why I spent money for Suicide Squad, but I did.
We all did.
But yeah, that was the. Yeah, I think I think he'll do just fine. I think maybe hopefully DC can pick it back up.
For sure.
Have they announced who's going to be the director of this?
I'll look. Oh, it's Matt Reeves, isn't it?
Is it Matt Reeves?
The Batman. I think it's the Batman that they've been wanting to do.
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
So it's not going to
guys can
be the Ben Affleck script. Didn't they do away with that now? From what I heard. I believe so. So here's my thing. I don't really care if who's the Batman, really, in all honesty, as long as they make a good Batman movie with them. I think Robert Pattinson, I've seen some of the photos recently, and he does look like a good Bruce Wayne, in my opinion.
Nice chin.
He does.
And a nice jaw. That's all you need.
Now, is that going to translate to movie form? Probably. I mean, just look at the Dark Knight trilogy. That was definitely a different take on the Batman, but I think overall, no one was expecting how good those movies were going to be. Mm-hmm. And that's may be what they do with this upcoming one.
I'm reading here, it's a Hollywood Reporter article, and I'm not sure how much, if it's changed at all, story-wise, but this was like a year or so ago. It's saying how, it says it has been rewritten by Matt Reeves without Ben Affleck. Anyway, it says, Reeves stated in an interview that the film will feature a, quote, an almost noir-driven detective version of Batman that will emphasize the heart and mind of the character and will take inspiration from Alfred Hitchcock. So that interests me.
That's very interesting. And
me personally, I really am interested in the Joker movie. To me, that looks really good so far by the trailer. I hope I'm not disappointed, but if for anyone that doesn't feel that, all I say is watch the movie Taxi Driver, and then watch that trailer, and you'll probably feel the same way I feel. So hopefully they'll meet up, and hopefully that'll be the thing.
Have you seen the Joker trailer, Nathan?
I have.
I don't know about you guys, but I went and saw John Wick 3, and there was a new Joker trailer at the beginning of it. It's one I haven't seen. And the first trailer I saw, I was iffy about it because I was still in the mindset that DC has not been making great movies recently, so I don't know how they're going to do with this one. But that new trailer, it got me a little invested.
Which one are you talking about?
I don't know, because I haven't seen this trailer.
That was the same one that I've seen and I thought we talked about.
Was it the same one? If so, maybe seeing it on a bigger screen brought out more to it.
Yeah.
But I think, judging by just how it looked, what's his name, Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
He sold me in that trailer.
He's a great actor.
He is. So maybe they'll when they reboot this Batman franchise, Robert Pattinson will be a pretty good fit.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a little meetup.
Maybe we'll get a Suicide Squad 2 appearance.
Oh. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, James Gunn's doing it, so I sadly will say that I'm probably going to see it.
Maybe Kristen Stewart will be Catwoman.
Maybe.
It's the revival. And then it just turns into Twilight all over again.
He gets bit like halfway through. Wait, isn't there like a vampire character in Batman?
Is there a vampire character?
Yeah. Hold on. Well, there is a. Yeah, there's the Batman. Like he's been turned into a vampire. It's in one of the comics. Boom. There we go. Twilight. It's all connected.
I saw some articles today about people were wanting Vanessa Hudgens as Catwoman.
I mean, that would be interesting.
Depends. Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know,
man.
But speaking about
Halle Berry again.
Speaking about all this, though, let's just say Robert Pattinson got a little bit of backlash on Twitter, social media, just all over the place on how they feel about Mr. Twilight being Batman. Just like a little movie that just got delayed till 2020 called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
So, let me just start by this. Who is Sonic, and what does he mean to you, Ryan?
Alright, well, Sonic's a hedgehog, and he goes fast, he's blue. I might have played one Sonic game in my life, so I don't have a connection to it.
It better be Sonic Heroes.
It was a long time ago. It was one of those I think it was on my friend's GameCube. So I'm not sure which one it would have been. But yeah, I've never been like the biggest Sonic guy. I'm like, cool, he's like the Flash but a hedgehog version. But yeah, that's about it for me with Sonic.
All right, Nathan, who is Sonic and what does he mean to you?
Okay, Sonic means a lot to me because I've played a lot of Sonic games growing up. A lot of the Sonic games as of recent have been terrible.
Wow.
And just when you sit there and you're like, well, these games are terrible, but nothing could be worse than the games. Then they decided to make a movie, and it was so bad that they decided to push it back to next year now, instead of the original November 2019 release date that they had set in the trailer, because the backlash was so terrible. And you and I discussed this outside of the show, Matt, that there's just it's not marketed towards anyone.
It really isn't.
And like the trailer just looks like it was put together, not really knowing what direction they wanted to go in. All of a sudden, Sonic they're like trying to do it. Almost felt like a Detective Pikachu type movie with Sonic because he's trying to live in the real world, and I don't know. And then Gangster's Paradise is playing. Like I don't know what's going on here.
Cool.
A big collision of just confusion. There was just no direction, and there was no big in the trailer, so I'm out.
So what about what's her Cream?
Yeah, Cream.
Where's Cream?
There's no Cream. I mean, come on.
I think it was Sonic Heroes. Now that I'm looking at the games.
Yeah, Sonic Heroes was one of the greatest Sonic games ever created. They just brought all the characters to play against each other in trios, and it's just you against time, and it's a fantastic game.
So, would you say you were disappointed in this new Sonic trailer?
I was, but for probably other reasons than the majority of this outrage. Here's another thing before we move on. A little factoid for you all. Tails' full name is Miles Prowler. Name isn't even Tails, it's a nickname.
So, did y'all take to the internet and voice your opinions on how bad Sonic looked?
I personally did not. Because I was just like, well, this movie's going to be bad. I don't really care. But obviously the community was so strong that they were able to convince them to push the date back.
But before we get into that, let's not overlook that his name is a pun. Miles Prower? Miles per hour? Sorry. Back to what you're talking about.
Oh, it hurts.
Well, speaking of Miles Prower, Jeff Fowler, the director of the movie, tweeted out, taking a little bit more time to make Sonic just right. Hashtag no VFX artists were harmed in the making of this movie. And they pushed the date back to February 14th, 2020.
Take your partners, take whoever you want, because Sonic's coming out at the loveliest time of the year.
That's right, it's on Valentine's Day.
It is.
I just realized that. Wow.
And here's another factoid for you. Now that I'm looking it up, Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic, he was in a film in 2009 called I Hate Valentine's Day. So, take that one.
All comes full circle here.
This is fantastic, though. But I'm just really curious to see what you guys think about them. The internet having so much power nowadays that they're able to make a company, a director, a company, a whole movie get just redesigned and pushed back. And hundreds and thousands of jobs that worked on this movie now have to work a bit longer just because some people on the internet were mad over it.
I personally hate it. Not that I don't think the internet's wrong for saying that Sonic looks stupid, because I think he does. But I just feel like once you put the stuff in, then it's just gonna, any little thing that someone's gonna complain about on the internet that gets enough traction, it might, lead to something like this happening. I feel like, I just think whatever their direction that they decided to go with, they should stick to that, and let the fans decide after the fact if they like it or not. Because I don't know. I don't think it sets a good precedent.
I mean, the fans showed that they already didn't like it, and that everything shown in the trailer, the fans were not interested.
But this,
so they had a very big fear that it would be hurting them significantly in their finances and making money off this movie. Why would they not?
But then you just think about anything in the future. You think of casting decisions. You think of anything. I mean, think a new Star Wars trilogy coming out. People probably want to get D&D off of the new trilogy because they're like, oh, we hate Game of Thrones now. Let's sign 1 billion people to a petition to get them not to make this movie.
Maybe somebody playing Batman that they don't like.
I don't think it would get that severe. I think it's just something that, because the Sonic community was so strong for, if they're going to actually make a movie, at least make an attempt to do it right, and this was so far from it, that the fans just came together and did what they could to at least get their message across about how they felt about the trailer. And this just shows that the production company behind this who is this? Is this Paramount? Who is it?
Paramount, Sega, a lot of other.
Like they just show that they're listening.
I get that, but I don't know. I think of like
where you're coming from.
I think of like Mass Effect 3, where they just add like the other ending to it because of the outrage. I don't think that people in the position of making movies have to always adhere to a loud group of people on the internet.
If you want a good amount of money, you might want to.
I agree. Yeah, I get that point about finances, but I'm just. I don't think people's vision should change because someone on the internet's angry about it. But I understand the money point, for sure.
I mean, we had the petition of people that wanted Season 8 to be redone. Yeah.
Which
that would never happen. But there's a better chance that we would get like a a prequel for Game of Thrones than for them to remake it entirely.
Well, I think that's what they're doing right
now. That's why I said, when you say like, oh, they're gonna start changing all these things. I don't think that's the case. I think this is just a risk that they took, and it completely fell apart. And before it got worse, when the movie came out, they had an opportunity to fix it, and that's what they're gonna do.
So for Nathan,
what about you, man?
I was just going to say for Nathan, like you mentioned earlier, who was this movie marketed to in the first place? Because it didn't seem to be marketed at all towards Sonic fans. Like people who love Sonic, because they redesigned the character.
Where's our green hill?
That's what I'm saying. How did all this backlash affect the people who are producing the movies? Because it didn't seem like they had a clear direction in the first place of what they wanted to accomplish with this movie.
I just don't know what the premise of this movie was supposed to be, because it was just like going back to my comparison with Detective Pikachu, with Pikachu being in like the real world, they at least showed the other Pokemon and how they interact in this world, and they just showed like Sonic is just kind of there, and then if they didn't even show like, part of me is grateful that they didn't show what this animation would look like if they put Knuckles and Tails and Big in there, but there were just no other characters from the game. And if it's just entirely focused on Sonic, that's fine if that's the direction they want to go in. But it still causes confusion with the direction of the movie.
And that's my take on it. I was genuinely appalled that like a company would subdue to these internet criticisms of something that they're making. And of course, making the movie themselves, I just don't see how they even greenlit the project with a trailer like this. Because
that's. You go, sorry.
I was just gonna. I don't think it appealed to anybody. Unless they sat 20 kids under the age of 10 in a room and showed them the trailer and they really liked it. Because, kids are the ones paying the money to go see it.
Meow.
James Marston.
I'm indifferent about it. I'll say that at the least. I'm glad that they're listening to criticisms, which I think are genuine criticisms of a movie that looks bad, and they're taking the time to try to go back and fix it. But on the other hand, if this starts a trend and people on the internet start getting mad about everything, and maybe it's even in the minority of people, and it could interrupt some severe projects that creators were working on for years. And
I feel like my biggest thing with this is like, it's not even what Sonic looks like. The trailer, nothing looked good in the trailer. Not even focusing on what Sonic looks like, just the story wise. I was like, I don't know what. This doesn't look interesting at all. I guess I'm coming from a non-Sonic fan, but nothing about that movie looked like it was going to be like wow, this is a great movie. Just.
You're telling me Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman?
Jim Carrey was... I take that back. Jim Carrey was the only thing that did look good, because he looked like classic Jim Carrey. Other than that,
but that's not even like... Folks. It's just not even what Dr. Eggman looks like.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing it from a non-Sonic perspective.
Like, Dr. Eggman, the joke is his body is shaped like an egg.
Yeah.
And they threw that out the window, too.
He's doing Ace Ventura stuff.
That's great, but I think it was Jeremy Johns. I think it might have been the one that said it, but either him or someone else said, like, I wonder what kind of bet he had to lose to be in this movie. Like what? Like just watching it, it just doesn't even seem like that's where he belongs. So it's.
He's gonna save this movie.
Let's move on. I can't.
I was just bringing up one last thing. We obviously live in a world now where Detective Pikachu is huge, and it may not be the greatest movie ever, but it did very well for a video game-esque movie, And there hasn't really been success in that genre in a long time, and I'm just curious to see if the video game-esque movie Sonic that people got mad about is going to start a trend with other movies. And
of what, good or bad?
Either or.
Because it doesn't look good at all. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the trailer was just badly, like, shot and edited. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But nothing about that trailer.
There's conspiracy theories online saying this is actually just a ploy. This is just marketing.
They knew this movie was coming out Valentine's Day.
And it's just all a ruse to get you like, oh, maybe they'll fix it, and then they're going to release a trailer here soon, and it'll look much better.
I hope I'm wrong.
And it'll get a bunch more people to go see the movie. So here's what I'm getting at. Do you think this movie's going to be good because of the redesign? Let's make our predictions now, before the next trailer even comes out.
No, because they said that they're just going to be redesigning it. They're not changing the plot. Like, the movie's not being completely changed, based off what we've seen. So, I mean, the movie's not going to be good. I don't know. Maybe the visuals would be better. I would hope. But in my prediction, no, the movie's going to stay bad.
No. Thank you. That's all I gotta say.
I'll be the devil's advocate and say I think with the redesign, it'll look a lot better. And
but that wasn't what you said. You said, is the movie going to be good or bad?
Is the movie going to be good?
I think it will be good because of this redesign.
You think the movie will be good because of the redesign? I think
the movie...
Mark it down, folks.
Will be good.
You're
we will come back
now. That's what we're dealing with.
Next Valentine's Day and discuss.
After we all go on a love triangle date to see it.
But yes, that was just an interesting topic I wanted to bring up. And so, moving on, I just want to know, we'll keep it kind of short today. I want to know if y'all have seen anything good recently and what you recommended.
I just watched the whole John Wick trilogy in 3 days. I've already seen the first one, but we rewatched it with my parents. Then we watched 2 and 3. And they are very good. I liked it in a 3-1-2 order. I think 2 was still good, but I think 3 was like fantastic. Go see it if you haven't yet in theaters.
Which I have. And I wanted to bring up, that was no spoiler free, by the way.
No spoilers, yeah.
I watched John Wick 1, and then I did not see John Wick 2.
Really hurt me because you had all day to watch it. You said you were going to watch it.
I had plans. We had plans.
Mm-hmm. And you were watching Star Wars. I saw the picture. Don't want to hear it.
That's besides the point.
Yeah.
Anyways, we watched John Wick 1, and we went to go see John Wick 3 that night. And boy, what a movie.
What a movie.
I don't want to spoil anything, but my favorite action movie is Mad Max Fury Road. And that got close to being one of the coolest action movies I've seen.
It's pretty great.
It is. So
I've seen John Wick 1, but I did not see 2 or 3, so
I'd recommend.
You can pull a me, and we can just go see 3 if you want to, Nathan.
No, you should see 2. It'll make everything a lot easier.
I would like to see them, just haven't gotten around to them. What I have gotten around to seeing, ladies and gentlemen, in my top 10 Disney films now, Coco. Let me tell you, Coco, I finally got around to watching it.
Don't spoil it for me.
And what a story. I mean, I'm all about the story. And Disney's always been great with the story. But my goodness. I mean, the plot twists, the emotions, the music, the visuals, the voice acting, everything was just fantastic. I just trying to go back and think of something that I didn't like the movie. I can't think of one. Honestly, can't think of something that I didn't like about the movie. So if you haven't seen Coco, highly recommend it. Do it now because Disney Plus is coming, and it's on Netflix right now. It's only an hour and a half long. Get to it. Coco Loco.
I will agree with that recommendation, and it is a kids movie, and it's not. I don't think it's made for kids. It definitely has like some adult themes in the movies, and I think anyone could watch it because That movie is fantastic. It's one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. But as for me, I watched John Wick, obviously. Thought it was fantastic. Great movie. And winded down the next night with a little movie called War Horse.
Whoa, Spielberg.
Yeah, that movie was interesting. I thought it was a very heartwarming movie overall. And I thought it'd be a little bit better, but I thought that they did the CGI in that movie really good. Really good, because they were showing the horse getting like knocked over in trenches and stuff and caught in barbed wire, and I was like, that looks like a real horse. I don't know how they're getting away with this. Unless it was a real horse and that wasn't CGI. But I would recommend that movie if you want to watch a little somber tale about a horse and war.
I might. One thing that I wanting to watch. I think I'm going to rewatch Stranger Things because Stranger Things season 3 is coming on the 4th of July, and it's been a while. So I either watching a recap or something, because I remember the main things that happened, but it's very, very faint. So I might have to go back and rewatch Stranger Things.
Did you watch Stranger Things, Ryan? Have you seen that yet?
No.
We should do a watch party for it.
That is something you definitely need to watch.
We do. Because that is, I think, a great show. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is great. And it's one of the few shows that I'm consistently watching each year, like Game of Thrones. So it's definitely... It's going to be an interesting season coming up, because season 2, in my opinion, it was really good, but it lacked... Like, there was a whole episode I didn't care about. I didn't think they did well. If you know what episode I'm talking about, Nathan.
I think so.
Yeah. So it was a whole side story, which may play a bigger point into season 3, but it just didn't really have effect on that whole season in general. But that Stranger Things, I'd also recommend.
Well, look at us. Look at we're giving people movies, shows. I mean, what else do they need? Video games? You guys want to play anything? Rage 2?
We'll save that for our video game podcast. But I think that'll be all for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us and talking with us. And leave us comments if you want. Tell us how wrong we are about Sonic. But
yeah, you can try. I'll tell you right now, the movie's not going to be good.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Make me un poco loco.
Goodbye.